knitters. Recently there's been quite a bit of conversation online in my group, and I've seen in others, about magic loop and why it's helpful and how exactly to make it work. So what I have here is just a sock that I've been working on. It's my Customizable Toe Up tutorial sock, and there's a link for the pattern down below if you're interested. It is a heel flap and gusset construction. The only difference is it has a heel on the heel flaps on the bottom, so it's just the regular heel flap and gusset like you're used to seeing like this, and it's just flipped on its head. So here's the toe of my sock, and it's just reversed. But magic loop is super handy. This is a size 2.25 millimeter ChaioGoo needle, 100 centimeters or 40 inches. And I like magic looping with this length because it's super easy, it's very flexible. So the premise behind magic loop is that you can knit any diameter or any circumference at work, because you're working on making a loop, or think of it like an infinity symbol or a figure 8. Okay, so my right side is toward me, and I'm going to push all the stitches up to the tip of my left needle. And then I'm going to take my right needle and pull it through. Okay, I'm pulling it through, but I'm not going to pull it through so much that I lose my loop on this side. So only pull it through enough where you still have plenty of loop here. This is crossed over comfortably, like nothing is stretched or pulling in that way. It's crossed over comfortably, and there's plenty of slack here. And same on this side. You want to have enough length that you can circle this back around and meet up to begin knitting. So we're going to start knitting, and you'll see I have plenty of loop here, and I shouldn't have any ladders because there's plenty of slack to pull this right up next to the back of the stitch I'm about to start, which needs to be a purl. Okay, so you can see that when I tighten the first and second stitch, that snugged up that cable right to the back here. So I shouldn't have any ladders at all. This is right close. Shouldn't have any ladders. Any problems with that? Now, if you're noticing ladders when you do magic loop, it's likely because you have a loop that's too short, and it might be causing some tension here. It might be widening out like this. So you want to have a long enough. So I would suggest either a 32 inch or even a 40 inch like I prefer. The reason I have a 40 inch is because then I can do larger projects on it. I could knit a bigger hat with this. Like I've done the sock head hat a couple of different times, the slouchy sock head beanie, I forget what it's called. I've done that a couple times. Or you could even knit 2 socks at a time if you do it 2 at a time, if you would prefer to do that. So let me knit my way across, and then I'll show you the magic loop shuffle when I get my work to the other side of this needle. Alright, I've just finished working all the stitches on this needle, so now all the stitches are on the left, and I'm left holding this with the loop that was there. So I'm going to just go ahead and drop that needle. And the first thing I do is just it's just habit for me to hang on to the left side. And I'm going to take the cable and pull it through. So I've just drawn up this needle closer, okay? Then I'm going to take this needle that I've just finished working all the stitches onto, and I'm going to pull that out. Then I'll turn my work, because now I have to knit across the other side of my sock. And I need to prepare this needle for working, and I have my working yarn coming off the back as it usually is. Whether you're working in DPNs or any other way, you want your working needle coming off the back. And then I'm just going to draw this through and curl it around, and then I can start knitting again. And then I've got my loop maintained over here. Now the reason that you don't want to get too short of a loop is that you don't want to inadvertently draw your loop all the way into your work. So you want to maintain a loop here and a loop here. So it's like a big infinity symbol or a giant figure 8. Now mine is a little bit long. That's okay. Some people prefer a shorter loop. That's totally personal preference. So you do what works for you, but I'll knit across this side and I'll show you the loop shuffle one more time. As before, I have finished working the stitches across onto my right hand needle, and then I have this left. So what I need to do first is hold on to this with my left hand, and then I pull the cable through. And I got in the habit of holding on to this because I didn't want to accidentally pull my needle and then pull my work off. That would be bad. So I got in the habit of just hanging onto this with my left hand while I pull the cable through on my right, turn my work. My yarn is still coming off the back. Go ahead and pull the back needle through Okay, now all of those stitches are secure on that cable. This is the row I'm going to begin knitting on now across the front, and then I just simply draw this through and curl it around and then start knitting again. So you're just making loops and knitting across the front and knitting across the back. The other thing I will add is when I am prepared to travel, when I'm going to shove this in a bag or I'm going to go somewhere, I just bring both needles parallel together and leave my work on the cables. It's very unlikely anything's going to fall off or come free. It's easy, and then I just tuck it all in my bag and go. Okay, I hope that helps. Let me know if you have any questions. Thanks for watching.